See. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delays. I felt like shit for the past few days due to work, and I decided, fuck it. This is the first stream of the year and the first video of 2023. Now it's a little late, but happy motherfucking New Year. Same shit, different year, it seems like. Not much has really changed. What am I going to talk about today? Well, I know the thumbnail is kind of provocative, and despite the thumbnail, that's not going to be the main topic. I just did it so people will like, oh man, I'm going to click this. So yeah, I'm being real. It's clickbait, nothing more. I'm not going to really talk about like Nazi propaganda and movies. I might talk about it, maybe. I haven't decided that. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Um, has anyone had a good year so far? I mean, it's only been 11 days as of this video. Nothing too crazy. Climate change is fucking insane right now. Freaking. And people want to fucking, deny it's fucking real. I mean, it's fucking. Yeah, it's been raining a lot in my area where I live at for the past few weeks. There's like been floods in Northern California. For those who live up north would know what I'm talking about. Oh, the Mirage Team NT comics are great. I think you'll definitely like them if you're into black and white comic books. Now, I don't have a particular topic I'm going to focus on. The only thing I could probably there's something I would like to talk about, though I fucking forgot what I want to talk about at the moment. So it'll come back to me, but I'll probably talk about it. Though I'll probably revisit it again in a separate video. But I feel like, you know what? This is basically an open stream where multiple topics will be discussed. I have no idea what I'm discussing. Really, I'm just saying what's on your mind. Same shit, different here. Dealing with assholes on my job, my work hours being fucking cut. No joke. Yeah, for those of you who want to know about my job situation and update on it, I'm still employed. Just my hours have been cut by half. More than it's fucking bullshit. It's demeaning. It's humiliating, and they do it because they fucking can. Because they can get away with it. Because nobody's going to freaking challenge these fuckers. Yeah, I'll just say it how it is. They don't give a flying fuck about fucking over workers. They don't give a fuck, especially with the disabled, especially. Oh, we're technically accommodating your request not to work you too much because your social security will be taken from you if you make too much. Some bullshit like that. They could still have me work the same amount of hours they've given me 11 years prior, but instead they're just doing anything they can to create a hostile work environment. Because fuck it, anyone that has any views that challenges the powers that be will just fucking make their time at work as miserable as possible. Yeah, let's make this worker, let's make him fucking feel as uncomfortable as possible. Yeah. Yeah, this is more ranting about my workplace, but fuck my work. I can't say what the job like is. Yeah, 11 fucking years. 11 years of my fucking life that I fucking been working with these fuckers. 11 fucking years. And this goes to show you seniority means jack and shit. Because they'll fucking cut your fucking shit without a second thought. Especially if you're a worker they don't particularly like very much. And some people may be able to piece together what company I'm working for, but I'm not going to say it because I'm not stupid. I know there's hate watchers of mine who are watching this video who would gladly dox me, so I'm not dumb enough to say where I work, but I could tell you it's fucking awful. The atmosphere is bourgeois. Some of the most fucking disgusting people I've ever dealt with are work at this job. Their mentality against people who are less fortunate, their elitist views on people who do the same kind of work they do. Oh, I work at these people who work in these jobs, they don't deserve fucking pay to get paid more. How dare they protest against their corporate overlords because their fucking wages are fucking shit and it's not enough for them to survive on. How dare these people? Oh, how dare these people try to fucking how dare they actually demand better of their job? Yeah, you are correct about that. And I don't believe in seniority. I don't believe that personally, but you figure working for 11 years would earn you some fucking respect or at least something. At least give you something, but no, you're not guaranteed jack and shit. And I'm speaking from someone who's in their mid 30s. I'll tell you, this job I'm fucking working on, where I'm worked at, it's fucking shit. The same kind of abusive shit you probably are familiar with. Oh, we're a family. Oh, will we want you to do better. We want you to want to be here. It's like, who the fuck wants to work at a fucking place that makes you feel unwelcome, that makes you feel inadequate, that makes you feel like shit, that makes you fucking not feel appreciated? The only people that truly enjoy working at the job I'm working at are fucking people that benefit from the job, not people who get nothing. It's like, what incentive do I have to work harder when I'm not getting given anything in return? It's all a fucking lie. It's all a fucking lie. Yeah. I just figured that's just an update what's been going on. And I don't see my work situation improving. My hours, you know, I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet with my reduced fucking hours. And the fucking people that fucking I work for don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. The disabled to them are disposable. It's only a matter of time before I'm given 1 day a week. I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if I'm given 1 day a week because that's how little they value disabled workers. They don't fucking view us as anything more than a cheap tax write off. There's nothing that they do not lose anything by letting disabled workers keep the fucking same amount of hours they've always had at my job. 8 hours just like everyone else. Oh, but if you don't work cashier or can't, we're gonna reduce your hours. So by default, the disabled are fucked as usual. And you know what? What makes me fucking shocked is I'm not shocked. Like I knew, oh, even if I had kept my job after December of 2022, I would be fucked over anyway. Which, oh, look what we have here. Let's see. And instead of giving me like I don't know, maybe having 3 5-hour shifts a week, that would actually be feasible. I'd be able to survive on that. 3 5-hour shifts. No, let's reduce my hours to 8 hours a week. Oh boy, let's make it so it's more difficult to survive because my rent's fucking went up by over $100, which makes it even more difficult than ever to fucking pay my fucking rent now. Seriously, fuck these fuckers. And I can go on a fucking tirade and a fucking rant fucking for over an hour about how much I fucking despise this fucking job. But I don't know if someone at my job isn't fucking watching this. I wouldn't be shocked if they do. I mean, I've said too much. I really have. I fucking hate fucking retail. It's the most. I just cannot describe my fucking hatred for retail. It fucking sucks. Anyone that works retail or has worked retail knows exactly what I'm talking about. It fucking is soul crushing working at retail. It literally is soul crushing. If the customers don't fucking destroy you, it's the fucking workers. Especially the bourgeoisified workers who act like they're better than everyone else because, oh my God, they have better benefits than people who work the same kind of job. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I work at this XX job and it's better than Ralph's and Albertsons. Well, despite the fact that the Albertsons and Ralph's and Stater Brothers literally does the same kind of fucking work my job does. The same kind of work. In fact, I'd argue that those jobs are harder than the one I work and they get fucking less pay. Yet the people at my job, they have the fucking gall to freaking think they are superior somehow because fucking they've been paid more for the longest time. It fucking sickens me. Yeah, they are scum. They literally are scum. Not all of them, but they're fucking scum. They're some of the most bougie people you'll ever fucking meet. It does suck. And oh God, and I cannot say fast food, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's the same way. I mean, I got a story to tell people. Every time I go to a Wendy's where I will, it's not close where I live, but on my way home, the people welcome me. They treat me as an honored guest because I treat the workers well. I don't fucking, treat them like shit. I when they screw up, I just said that's okay. That it's not a big deal. Just a lot of these customers just treat have no compassion or empathy for how difficult these kind of jobs are. They just look at you like you're some sort of fucking punching bag. Oh, my day sucks. Oh, let's just attack this unsuspecting person. Let's just harass them and give them shit because we know they can't fight back because if they do, they can get fired. It's like the same fucking bullshit. It's like these people have some sort of fucking twisted fucking power trip. They have no fucking, you know, compassion. They treat their workers like fucking shit. Well, it's not just Wendy's. I mean, at El Palo Loco, like yesterday, I literally got a drink for free. Despite that, I didn't ask for it, and I got one for free because I treat the workers kindly. Oh God, Karens. I deal with them not all the time, but when it's really, really fucking busy at my job, I deal with Karens. Some people will be able to piece together what job I work at, but I will not say the name of the company because I am not going to get fired for basically speaking about things that I've been seeing behind the scenes because you have no free speech on your job. You fucking literally don't. You say something that goes against the fucking boss, boom, you're fired. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck if this ruins your life. And they do this the psychological thing that make it and gaslighting tactic always. Oh, it's your fault that you're not doing well. It's your oh, it doesn't matter if you're under a lot of stress. It's like you can't really say anything to these fucking bosses because if you tell them honestly, oh, why are you struggling? What's your problem? If you were to tell them, I don't know, you're the fucking problem, you're the source of all my stress, they'll just use that against you. Oh, this person just doesn't want to take responsibility for their own problems, even though the fucking place that you fucking work at is the very source of their fucking mental fucking problems because they fucking can't freaking get out of it because they need fucking the money to survive. It's fucking disgusting. They take it full advantage of the fact that you cannot really fight back. Yes, you could resist. Yes, you could do that, but But is anyone going to risk losing their job because of it? Of course not. And another way that people can reinforce the fucking authority of the fucking bosses is the fucking customers. Like the customer is always right is the same fucking nonsense that basically translates to I have a right to treat you as badly as I want, and you can't do a fucking thing about it because I'm always right, which is bullshit. Because this is the kind of shit that these fucking people do in order to take advantage of the power dynamics between the worker and the customer. Because in capitalism, in this twisted world, you don't matter as a worker. The customer matters. And every single instance where there's a problem, well, not all of them, but most of them, they're going to choose the fucking customer. Okay, who brings more money? The customer. Oh, this customer has been shopping in our store for this X amount of years. How much money are we going to lose if we lose this customer versus if we fire this worker and train another one? They're always going to fire the worker in that instance because they care about profits. They don't care about the workers. They never have. And anyone that actually believes in this fucking American dream bullshit needs to fucking wake up to the American fucking reality that is the American nightmare. Oh yeah, I'll have to discuss that later because this is not a freaking scripted stream. Wait, I think. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, your manager almost ratted you out because you didn't clock out to get a drink of water. Wait, you have to clock out to get a drink of fucking water? What kind of fucked up shit is that? Water? 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 What the fuck kind of nonsense is that? Water. A basic human right. In a really hot day, you're dehydrated, you need something to drink, and you have to fucking clock out to have a drink of water? That fucking baffles my fucking mind. What the fuck? That is fucked up. I did not. Then again, this doesn't shock me. I mean, fucking Amazon is the kind of company that fucking does that the same to fucking people who need to use the fucking bathroom. And I know some workplaces require you to clock out when you need to use the bathroom. I know I've been talking about work, but I feel like this is the kind of issue that all of us can relate to who are workers because we understand the fucking oh god, this fucking idiot. Jesus. Yeah, okay, let's get exactly. Oh yeah, company time. I love the classic company time. You're stealing company time. You're stealing company time. What the fuck are you even talking about? What time? What about my time? What about fucking my time that you steal? What about the time that I fucking have to go on the bus? I'm speaking for myself. And now that my hours are reduced, I have to fucking go around, wait around for almost half the fucking day before I get to clock in. Because of the time they schedule me, I have to fucking leave the house early because if I don't, it'll be fucking insane, the traffic, and I will not be able to get to work on time. So I have to basically leave no fucking later than fucking 9 if I hope to get to work on time. So what about my fucking time? Oh wait, the workers' time doesn't matter. We have to fucking cry and care about the poor fucking corporation. We have to, the humanity. We have to care about the corporation. We have to care about the corporation. Oh, the poor CEOs, the poor bosses. Oh, you're using company time. Oh, even though you're just fucking having a fucking drink and you're trying not to fucking collapse because the fucking work is so fucking stressful. Oh my God, the poor fucking managers. Oh, the humanity. Yeah. Oh, the humanity. Oh, the humanity. We have to care about the bosses. Fuck them. Seriously. Company time is like some of the, when you hear company time, you're dealing with a piece of work. It's like, what the fuck? I was given shit one time for cooking my lunch early, or at least not cooking it, but putting my lunch in the oven so I don't spend half of my fucking lunch time cooking my food. So I could fucking at least have a good amount of time to relax. And the thing about these fucking workplaces, you're not even allowed to relax on your lunch because an hour to basically eat your lunch. I can eat a lunch in an hour, but if you're not even allowed to relax at any point at all, then that's fucking a hostile work environment there. Shit. Yeah, it's bullshit. It really is bullshit. Like company time is such fucking bullshit. It's like, oh, some guy is just reading a book, like on his break, and he may take a little bit longer because he's trying to find a good spot to fucking put his bookmark because most of us don't really want to stop a fucking book in the middle of a fucking chapter or in the middle of a section before it breaks off to a different scene in the fucking same chapter. Oh no. It's like everything is fucking rushed on these jobs. We can't simply just relax and unwind. Oh, well, I got an hour lunch, but I don't even get that anymore because I work for 4 hours as a shift now instead of fucking 8. It's going to not, it won't be its intention though. It, yeah, it's not enough. It isn't enough. It really isn't. It really is not enough because when you're working for 8 hours at a job that's highly physical, fucking 2 breaks and an hour lunch, or for most people, a half an hour lunch, is not a fucking enough. It really isn't enough. You need more time to fucking relax. In fact, it's ridiculous. But then again, it's all about fucking work, 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 work. Because the worker doesn't matter, the customer matters more than the worker. Even though we can get a lot more work done, actually, if we had more workers on the job, that way it gives some workers a chance to basically take longer breaks. Like if instead of taking a 10-minute break, you have them taking half an hour break, so they have a chance to rest their mind and body, and that way they can resume working. That way, and it gives the other workers to rest as well. I mean, you get a lot more done if you had more workers, and you just have like every 2 hours you have workers rest. Oh, but wait, we can't do that on company time. It's like, yeah, of course not. We can't have a more efficient fucking work environment. Or instead of having more workers, we can reduce the amount of times the fucking place is open so we actually can fucking get more shit done instead of having to focus on shoving as fucking much fucking products in the store as possible and selling as much. I don't know. These fucking people they're such pieces of shit. They really are. They do everything to fucking censor fucking you. Not censor, to fucking make you fucking feel worthless. Retail is the most fucking god awful fucking job I've ever fucking had. I fucking hate it with a fucking burning passion. My job was not this tense, by the way, when I first started. And I'm being very vague about it because if I say what my job is, my hate watchers will just dox me. So I'm not fucking dumb enough to do that. It used to be relaxing. People were more chill. Then COVID happened, and you guys know what happened with COVID. How how it was very overt how workers are perceived in capitalist society. Like workers are treated as disposable commodities. What the fuck? 2 hours? 2 hours a week? What the fuck? Interesting that they did that. We need fucking unions. We need fucking collective bargaining. People need to stop listening to fucking anti-union fucking bullshit. Stop fucking doing the jobs of union busters. Unions have fucking done good for the fucking workers. Every single person who's watching this, everything you take for granted, you have because of unions. The 8-hour workday, you would not have that if it weren't for unions. You wouldn't have pay. You wouldn't have paid sick leave or everything that you take for granted. But then again, we don't even have that anymore. A lot of us, like a paid sick leave, is basically a luxury. What? Of course. And if you really think about it, you really don't have a 10-minute break. If you really think about it, because your break literally starts as soon as you're told you can go on a break. So the amount of time it takes you to get to your destination to go on your break, you could be halfway. It could take who knows what amount of time where you take a break. Your break doesn't start as soon as you sit down. It starts as soon as you're authorized to go on a break. So if you really think about it, you really do not have a fucking 10-minute break on any fucking job. I mean, it's fucking bullshit. Anyone that claims you have a 10-minute break are full of fucking shit. And it really is. Yeah, they are. And fucking, like, everything at my fucking job hasn't fucking gone up. Everything. It's ridiculous. And freaking, they're just doing everything that downsize the workforce. Make the workforce smaller and work them harder. They fucking do not freaking. Yeah, 8 minutes. What the fuck? Yeah, it's absurd. 3 doctors' notice. That is fucking bullshit. Yeah, it is. It really is. And I known some coworkers of mine who left the company that I'm working at when it was starting to go corporate. Now, I can't say what company I'm working for, but for those who are smart enough to know, you may be able to figure it out on your own. But I won't say it. It used to be. It used to be far better before it became extremely corporate. Ah, shut the fuck up, you fucking simp. Yeah, and that's the thing about these fascists. Such fucking simps. You fucking pussies. Oh, I'm gonna simp for the fucking billionaires and my fucking owners because I'm a mindless slave that enjoys being enslaved by my corporate master. You're a fucking pussy. What the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, yeah. Who the fuck is gonna want to work fucking at a job that pays them literally nothing? It's like, oh, and yeah, capitalist supporters wonder as well, or the people that are getting fucking angry because their favorite fast food joint is not open as much because people don't want to work some shitty fucking, job. You know what? I got something to say for those who are complaining that they can't get their fucking McDonald's at fucking 12 o'clock at night. You want a fucking burger so bad? Make your own goddamn hamburgers, you fucking lazy fuck. It isn't hard to cook a fucking hamburger. All you have to do is get a fucking patty, get some cheese, or whatever you prefer to put on your burger, and you can make it homemade, and it will taste fucking better than a shitty fucking McDonald's burger that is actually more expensive now than buying the ingredients yourself. Who the fuck wants to go to McDonald's because it's like $10 fucking for whatever, but how much money you can get at McDonald's. It's not even cheap anymore to have a fucking McDonald's hamburger. And these fucking people want to complain about fucking workers want to work at these shitty places, or they don't, and that's why a lot of these places, their hours are reduced because they don't have as big of a workforce. Who the fuck wants to work in these kind of places? You want a fucking burger so fucking bad? Make your own, you lazy fucks. It isn't fucking hard to make a hamburger. If you're so bad at cooking, you have a little thing called YouTube. Type how to make a fucking hamburger. There's tutorials all over the internet. You could fucking find it. It shouldn't be hard. And let's be honest, if you really need a tutorial how to fucking cook a hamburger, it is so fucking easy. It's common sense. Have you never seen how people cook a hamburger before? But to give you the benefit of the doubt, if you haven't, just go on YouTube, watch how to cook a hamburger, and I guarantee you will prefer making your own burgers than going to any of these fast food joints. As bad, Wendy's may be expensive, but at least the burgers don't fucking taste like shit like McDonald's and Burger King. God. Yeah, and these first worlders complain that a lot of these places just are not open as much anymore. It's like, well, stop supporting these companies. If you want these places to fucking close earlier, support fucking paying workers more. Stop being such a fucking simp. You fucking fuck. You stupid fucks. They all like this site. Oh, common sense this, common sense that. It's common sense that if you pay the workers more, offer them more, they'll more likely want to work for you. And they're not as likely, and treat them better, they're not as likely going to complain as much. It's not really that complicated. It really isn't. But simps of capitalism just would rather tell fucking people, oh, shut the fuck up and stop being lazy and just work harder. Yeah, it's these same fuckers who have never worked a day in their lives, or don't know what real work is like, or are so fucking pathetic and they're such fucking losers that they have to simp for fucking billionaires because that's the only way they can get any validation in their sad and pathetic little fucking brains of theirs. I'm sorry, I have no fucking qualms about mocking fucking simps of capitalism because that's exactly what they are. They're not fucking capitalists. They're freaking bootlickers that bootlick for the fucking capitalists that fucking do nothing but screw them over, screw their fellow workers over, and in an event of a fucking fascist movement that rolls back workers' rights even more, they'll sit back and tally behind these fucking corporations because that's what these fucking people are good at. These little fucking right-wing little bitches, because they have no fucking thoughts of their own, that they would rather fucking support fucking the fucking rich over fucking workers because they're fucking cowards. The only I agree with you. That's or as a place to hang out because fucking malls are fucking closed. Yeah. I hope fucking the worker shortage gets fucking worse. I hope fucking more workers quit. I hope fucking more workers go on strike. I hope fucking the workers bring this entire goddamn economy on its knees. I don't fucking give a shit. Fuck the workers. No, not the workers. No, fuck the fucking workers that sent for these billionaires. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them. I wish these. I wish. Well, I can't say what we should do to the billionaires, except we should liquidate them all. Ugh. Ugh. Oh God. I don't even want to imagine what they put in that food. Yuck. Yuck. God. Yeah, that is true. And of course, there's so many damn options for burgers. That's what I'm basically saying. I can't believe I'm talking about food. I mean, literally, I know I keep speaking about food, but do you have any idea what kind of shit you could do to a burger? That's why I'm saying I don't how understand how anyone could complain about McDonald's and shit when you could literally put whatever you want on your burger. Has anyone tried putting seasoning on your hamburgers? That's what I'm saying. Homemade fucking hamburgers are far better than anything you'll get at McDonald's and Burger King. Yeah, and I'm not, and that's not like there aren't any options. Oh, you're looking for a cheaper way to make burgers? Just get fucking frozen patties. It isn't that hard. Like you could put whatever you want. You could put garlic salt if you want, or whatever seasoning you like. You could put anything you want, and you could fucking make the best damn burger possible. I mean, I don't understand for the life of how any person would fucking not want to make their own burger. Then again, we live in America, a country that would rather have everything done by fucking other fucking workers or done by some fucking god awful fucking food that's banned from fucking most of the fucking world. It's like no matter where you go at McDonald's, whether it's in Japan, America, it always tastes like shit. Oh, every time I've eaten McDonald's, and I'm just saying this, I want to fucking puke. The food literally has no flavor. It literally has no flavor. It really, literally has no flavor. And anyone who has never had McDonald's, I envy you that you've never had McDonald's. It is the worst fucking food ever. I ugh, 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 God, I just ugh. That's just how disgusting McDonald's is. It's fucking sick. It's like Jesus. I'm ranting about fucking McDonald's. Well, the food tastes like shit. How can you not? I don't mind. I actually prefer turkey burgers actually over beef. I know that's going to come as a surprise to people here who probably never. I know I don't even talk about food often, but I prefer turkey. I haven't had a turkey burger in years, but the way I make turkey, I usually put garlic salt. I put some. I forgot. I forgot what kind of cheese I use. Oh yeah, belt. I use pepper jack cheese and ketchup and mustard and a few other things, and I just have a fucking great burger. I mean, who the fuck would fucking what? I I'm not lucky to work a job. Not my work hours have been reduced. I should be grateful that my hours have been reduced. I should be grateful that it's more difficult for me to pay my rent. I should be grateful that my bosses give me shittier and shittier hours. No, I'm not grateful. And I don't know who you are. And since you have an anime avatar, I won't take you seriously. Bye. Bye, bootlicker. Don't, not gonna miss you. Of course it's Bora Man. Jesus. I'm gonna go on a tangent here, but does this guy ever quit? I mean, seriously. Bora Man. It's been fucking it's been 7 years since I did those videos about Damian Wayne. Get a fucking life, you fucking loser. Seriously, get a fucking life, you fucking loser. You are a fucking loser. You are a loser. So how about you just go to your little corner on 4chan with your little fucking anime Nazi friends and just shut the fuck up and let the adults talk. Okay? Bye. He does. Anyway, I'm done addressing that fucking clown. Yeah. I wish I had a job that actually back to the subject about my job. I wish I had I asked for nothing but the bare minimum, and I'm denied even that. Oh my god. You've been harassed by him for years? Shit. Well, you want to know how to spot a fucking Nazi? Just if you see an anime profile picture, you know almost instantly it's them. Nazis are all the same. They have an anime profile picture of some fucking lolly girl. If you see that, they're likely a Nazi. How do I know this? Go on Twitter, go on any site that has when we see a bunch of right wing fucking not people and you see Nazis, they almost all of them have anime avatars. And usually the anime avatars they usually have are usually anime girls, which are mostly lolly, which is fucking creepy. It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna say this. Nazis are all pedophiles. Like, if you are a Nazi, you are a pedophile. I'm just gonna say it. You are a pedophile if you are a Nazi. It's because it's interesting how obsessed they are about children. If anything, we need to get these fucking creeps away from children because how often they're obsessed of talking about their. I'm not even gonna say it because it creeps me out. But you know what I'm saying. I won't even mention it because it's creepy to me. Just how obsessed they are with fucking children. It's like, God. Of course, children, pedophiles and Nazis go well together. And as far as I'm concerned, every Nazi is a pedophile. And I think the Soviet Union didn't kill enough Nazis as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, that's the last thing I'm going to talk about regarding that fucking idiot, unless he comes back again. Oh, God, what the hell was I talking about? Oh, God, Taco Bell is awful. Blech! Ugh, God. Taco Bell is fucking shit. You want to know what's also shit? Del Shitto, or Del Taco, what it's actually called. But my friends and I call it Del Shitto. You want to know another place that's fucking worse than Taco Bell? Chipotle, or what my friends like to call it, Shitpotle. No one under any circumstances should ever go to Chipotle unless you need a laxative, and you need to empty your colon. That's the only reason you should ever go to Chipotle. And I wouldn't even go do that. I mean, if you're gonna empty your colon, you might as well just drink some prune juice instead. I mean, Chipotle is fucking awful. Ugh. Ugh. Blech. I mean, yuck. Oh, God. Ugh. I love genuine Mexican food. It's probably some of my favorite food besides pizza. It is great. Not this fast food fucking garbage. Yeah. Well, he fucking deserves it. Good for the workers to fucking tell the manager to fuck off. Because without us, these corporations would fucking be nothing. We could fucking make or break them. The workers have a lot more power than they want us to believe that we don't have any power. We fucking do. That's why they're fucking doing these union busting campaigns, because they're fucking scared of us. They're scared in the power of numbers. Workers are far stronger together than we are divided. That's why they do divide and conquer tactics. That's why they bring up other issues and drive a wedge between workers, whether it's the LGBTQ community against other members of the LGBTQ community, whether it's members of the Asian American community against the new African communities, and vice versa. That's why they do all these strategy. That's why they do all this propaganda. It's all about divide and conquer. It's a classic tactic that our rulers have been doing for hundreds of years. Because you cannot defeat your enemies otherwise, unless you do it by divide and conquer. I will never go to Chick-fil-A. Fuck that place. Or that fucking god awful pizza, fucking Papa shit. Oh yeah, I meant Papa John's. I mean, the guy's a Nazi. I mean, Papa John's is just fucking awful pizza. It's overpriced. The crust tastes like ugh. I know, freaking. I've been talking about food for the past like 20 like God knows in work, but I think all this shit is related because it's about the conditions of workers. Though I'm not as familiar with Papa John's, but I've been hearing it treats its workers like shit as well, just like all these other fucking places. And fucking like at Little Caesars, I used to recall it was a lot easier to order pizza there. Now it's a lot harder because there's not as many workers. Like all these places, it's more difficult to get food simply because there isn't as many workers. Either the workers quit or they reduce the workforce because they don't want to pay them as much because of we have to raise everything to $15 an hour. And isn't it interesting how for over a decade we've been fighting for $15 an hour, and $15 an hour can't even pay for fucking anything in this country? It's ridiculous. And anyone that basically like argues against raising the minimum wage is basically pushing to enslave the working class. It's like they claim, if you raise the minimum wage, it will cause inflation, even though inflation's being caused anyway when you don't raise the minimum wage. In fact, when more workers have more disposable income, they spend more. It's basic economics, but libertarians don't libertarians don't actually understand economics. They never have and they never will, because libertarians are fucking stupid. They have no fucking idea about economics because they have such a childish view on economics. They've never read anything on economics. The only thing they've read about economics are libertarian fucking philosophers, and never actually read by actual economists that know their fucking shit. You raise the minimum wage, workers have more money to spend. And if workers have more money to spend, the economy is better. And if the economy is better, it's fucking common sense. You don't keep the minimum wage the same, especially when the minimum wage is fucking not enough for fucking people to fucking survive on. Like, nobody can fucking tell me that fucking $7 an hour is enough to fucking pay fucking rent. That's insane. It's a complete insanity to fucking say that workers who should have their minimum wage as low as possible, because we should be concerned how the fucking bosses, their income. Fuck the bosses. Fucking trickle-down economics doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It's been debunked 1,000 fucking times. Trickle-down economics, what does it do? When you give more money to the wealthy, do they invest, and does it trickle down to the workers? No, it mainly remains in the hands of the fucking 1%. Fucking trickle-down economics is a fucking idiotic ideology, and only the fucking people who don't have to work support it, or who have very little understanding on economics. It's funny how communists are always accused of not understanding economics when they're the ones that don't understand it themselves. When fucking communists have studied fucking economics in fucking great detail. Fucking anyone that claims that Lenin was a stupid man who didn't understand economics, or Karl Marx, are fucking idiots and don't understand. Like, Karl Marx literally wrote fucking 3 volumes of Das Kapital. He wrote thousands of pages on this fucking subject. I think he understands economics. I think somebody that is as well read as Karl Marx understands what economics actually is. I think Lenin, who also studied Karl Marx in great detail, and Gramsci and Stalin and Mao understand economics. It's these simps of capitalism that don't understand economics because they don't fucking because they don't want to fucking read anything. They just read what other people say about fucking how the superiority of the free market, when majority of everything that exists in their fucking society would not exist without the public sector. The public sector is the reason why a lot of things we take for granted today exist, because capitalism, the profit motive, if there is no if there's no financial incentive immediately, they're not going to fucking do it. They're not going to. A lot of these inventions that we have now would not exist if we completely depended on the private sector, because the profit motive is not really an incentive to invent, because if you have an invention that's going to basically go counter to the profit motive, they're not going to fucking support it. So if anything, capitalism gets in the way of technological advancement, because if there's technological advancements that doesn't support capitalism or goes against the system, they're just not going to allow it to get made. Or if they do allow it to get made, they're going to fucking use it for other ends. Now, I'm not an expert at all on economics, nor am I an expert on capitalism or communism. But based on what I've been reading throughout the years, like, it's complete and utter nonsense that raising the minimum wage will cause more inflation, when in fact history has been proven to be the opposite. When you don't fucking raise the minimum wage, or you don't, it doesn't matter. The price of goods are going to go up anyway. And it's idiotic to still hold on to this utopian fantasy that these bosses are going to fucking trickle their fucking whatever, you know what I mean, that this is going to trickle down to the rest of us. It will not. They'll continue to get more and more and more. For capitalism to fucking be capitalism, the fucking profit motive has to be the most important thing in anything. Like, capitalism requires the profit motive. If it doesn't have the profit motive, it's not capitalism. Of course, majority of these people think anything that's an alternative to capitalism, even if it's another like variation of capitalism, like social democracy, they just think that's communism, even though communism is a stateless society that has never existed and won't exist anytime soon, simply because we'd have to completely dismantle capitalism worldwide, and that's something that's going to take a really long time to happen. Yeah, fuck. You know what? Who gives a shit about Joe Biden or his wife? Okay, I know that. I don't care if this comes off as heartless. My fucking mother died a painful death when she didn't have to, because of the shitty health care that she had. And who knows, if she was properly diagnosed, she might have been still be alive today. Then again, I just have no fucking sympathy for fucking, like, Joe Biden or his wife. Fuck them. Fuck them. I really don't give a shit. I could care less. Oh, thank you, Socialism for All. Nice. I didn't expect to see you here, comrade. That's nice to see. Yeah, that's fucking insane. Now, I've been mostly talking about the workers, like, here, and fast food and all the other shit. But in all honesty, we all are part of the same struggle, because capitalism is increasing its exploitation of workers. If you're a disabled worker, you are likely going to be axed by the system. If you're not outright fired, they'll just reduce your hours, like they've done for me. and this is not a stream to make you feel pity for me or sorry for me. I'm telling you the realities, the harsh realities of capitalism, and how we haven't seen anything yet. Like the thing that went on in Congress, like freaking is crazy how like how divided the Republican Party is. People, we can't underestimate either party. The Democratic Party is a threat to the working class, just like the Republicans. But I think people should not underestimate the Republicans either. They are fucking dangerous. They are a violent reactionary party. And the Democrats are just enabling the Republicans. I don't know what's going to go on in 2023. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen. I would really like to tell you that I know, but I don't, because I expect more mass shootings this year. I expect more of the same shit. I expect the rhetoric against the LGBTQ community to intensify by these fascists, because they haven't stopped. They won't stop. I expect the rise of anti-Semitism to get even worse. I mean, Kanye West, I feel like was only the beginning of more open neo-Nazism in America. I mean, it's of course it's not accurate to say it's only the beginning, because it's not. But yeah, I agree with this completely. Yeah, they do. They've always collaborated with them. The Democrats collaborate with these fascists because they themselves are fascists. Like last year, the steel workers strike, they like they literally fucking passed a law to forbid them from doing so, or whatever. I think that's accurate, or executive order. You could correct me on that, but it doesn't change the fact that things are intensifying under capitalism. A strike almost happened last year that could have crippled the economy, and I feel like that's what's going to have to take. Anyone that's part of a union or is thinking about joining a union should join one. And yeah, I am risking my job by saying that, because I don't know who may be watching this, but I think we need to become part of a union. Anyone who isn't part of a union should join one if they can, because we're seeing a backlash with the rise of unions throughout the country. Various companies are fighting back, and that explains why they are doing these new policies, why they're targeting certain workers, because they know that workers are starting to fight back. They're starting to see that they aren't as disposable as they think, because what they need us, not the other way around. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, yeah, I remember that completely. And there's other things we got to look out for too. There's other people that they may appear to be our friend, but they're not. Like let's be honest here, the likes of Caleb Maupin and Hawes, they're a joke, but we still have to pay attention to people like them, because they are a threat to us. Simply because I think the biggest threat to me right now is communists, or so-called communists like Caleb and Hawes, using communism to push fascism. I think that is the biggest concern right now, because with the rise of fascism, we're starting to see multiple variations of the fascist movement, and we're seeing so-called communists pushing this nonsense. I think we're going to see more people like Hawes and more people like Caleb as time goes on, who will further muddy the waters. Yeah, that is true. That is very true. We we have to form a union, or at least be part of one, and do our part to advance the struggle, because the union busting that we've been seeing is nothing compared to what it's going to be like in a year from now, or 2 or 3 years from now. And I don't think us socialists in America or communists, whatever variation you cling to, we're nowhere near ready. We really are not. We really are not ready for and that's what's scary, actually. What's really scary about this fascist tide right now is how unprepared we truly are. Some of us are right now who have jobs can already see fascism in action in one way or another. The reason I spring this up, because my job, especially, certain on the surface, we are not apolitical at my job, but if you really want to really get deep, if you're really apolitical, then is conversations about Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson allowed on the store fucking floor? You can't get any more right wing especially than Jordan Peterson, or the open praising of Ben Shapiro, an openly political figure, or Tucker Carlson. Like, it seems like, of course, this is obvious for anyone who's listening to this. I'm preaching to the choir. It's right wing politics are completely fine in the workplace. That's considered apolitical. What apolitical should actually mean is politics that are acceptable to the establishment. If you have politics that are acceptable, you're apolitical. If your politics are not acceptable to the establishment, then you oppose them. Now, I gotta let this be known, because not everyone that opposes the establishment is a communist. There's many rightists that oppose the establishment. There are many people on the right that oppose the establishment because they are not right wing enough. And I could tell you, like, from what I've encountered from people offline and online, that those kind of people exist. So do not fall into that trap. And I know my viewers of mine who are watching this already know this, but I'm talking about to people who are watching this who are new to my channel. Do not fall into that trap. I did, and it fucking was a mistake that I paid greatly for, considering that the amount of people that I once associated with were rightists the whole fucking time. And I didn't even know it because I didn't understand politics as well as I do now. To understand politics, it's not just reading you're required to do. You actually have to be active in politics, because burying your head in books is not enough to have experience. Because if you don't have the experience in engagement with people who are political, then you're not going to have the experience to recognize these things. That is true. That is truly true. And I appreciate you coming here, Socialism for All. I did not expect you to be here. Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. I really do agree. It is very difficult to deprogram yourself. It took me a long time to do it, and I don't think I'm completely done, mind you. None of us are infallible. Like, I made a serious error trying to give libertarians the benefit of the doubt, and I think that's just something that I'm going to criticize myself heavily for, because I did not realize just how insanely fascist these people were until I actually started to engaging with these people on a regular basis. And no, I'm not talking about internet libertarians. I'm talking about libertarians in real life that I've encountered. I've talked to them, not because I agree with them, because I wanted to try to have a conversation and try to understand where they're coming from. But libertarians in general, on the surface, they come off as reasonable people when you're not experience at talking to libertarians. And I think Socialism for All rightfully basically told people, do not trust these people. And I feel like not enough of us listened to libertarians. Not enough of us listened to them. And I think that is a mistake, because I think people we cannot forget that Jimmy Dore platforming a fucking literal fucking fascist in the Boogaloo Boys. Yeah, they are. Well, I'm giving you credit because you were one of the first people and the loudest people that sounded the alarm before any of us did. And you have far more experience than I do when it comes to libertarians. I learned the hard way, because the more I engage with this one libertarian, which I'm using one, but they're all basically the same in their mindset. So it literally is fucking not really that much different. When you talk to one libertarian, you've pretty much spoken to all of them. You recognize all the talking points. Like one time, I am not joking, on the fucking store floor, I literally had this libertarian coworker said, basically doing Nazi apologelia by basically saying, "Oh, we should be allowed to platform Nazis so we can destroy this because it's free speech." And I was like, "What?" I literally went on a tirade that platforming Nazis, and I think everyone can agree on this, is not only dangerous, it is disgraceful, and it's disrespectful to the memories of the victims of the Holocaust. And you want to know what he said? I'm not even joking. "Oh, my wife's Jewish, so it's not a problem." It's like, what? What the fuck? What kind of fucking shit is that? My wife is Jewish, so it's okay for me to be a Nazi? And oh god, I should have stopped right then and there. But I was a glutton for punishment, and it was useful in my experience, because I learned not to engage with these people again. I tried other ways to learn about how this person thinks. Like he was a mindless supporter of Israel, and blames the Palestinians for their own problems. Oh, they deserve to be oppressed. Blah 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 blah. I called every single person that that fucking is a sorry. I fucking I'm a glutton for punishment. I wanted to learn how these people think, and it was a useful experience because I know what to recognize about what is, because libertarians, it isn't that difficult to spot a fascist within them, because they literally are a fascist. Like every single person that this person I talk to, libertarians are all like this. They support the most right wing people imaginable. It's like, wait, you're saying you're not a fascist, yet you support literal fascists, and one of them is a self-proclaimed fascist. I'm referring to Matt Walsh. Actually, this was the final straw for me, and I haven't talked to him because since our last conversation. Like, I was basically at the time the shooting that happened in Colorado Springs was fresh, and I was disgusted beyond belief when I basically said that when I basically said that people who spread rhetoric about against a certain group of people. I was speaking in code because I was on the store floor for an extended period of time. What do you think is going to happen? Of course, a violent reaction is going to happen. Oh, it's not his fault. Yeah, it is. He has blood on his hands. So does Ben Shapiro and Crowder, because of all the rhetoric they've been spreading. And he defended everything. And what really got me going is when he says trans people were groomers. It's like that is the point I decided to stop. Of course, the guy doesn't fucking know that I don't want to talk to him, because it's like I don't fucking deal with Nazis, and I do consider him a Nazi. Like the libertarian to fascist pipeline is so clear. Like anybody that fucking doesn't recognize it, and I was and I was naive not to, needs to learn the signs. Yes, you were right about they do believe in the JQ. I've seen it from libertarians. I know. Now, this isn't internet libertarians. These are people I've talking to outside the internet. Yes, it is projection. I would really love to, but I can't. If I did that, I'd get fired. Now, don't get me wrong. I think talking to people you disagree with is a good thing, but there's a line to be drawn. Like, and I think this is something that I completely agree with many people on who we shouldn't debate fascists. I don't fucking think we should. I think none of us here actually would disagree with me, but these fascists that hate watch me will never quit challenging me, and I will deny their request to debate because fascists cannot be reasoned with. And of course, everyone here who's listening to me knows, okay, Darth Sinovia, we know you're preaching to the choir, but I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the people who are watching this who are new. I don't debate fascists for various reasons. One, you cannot change their mind. Two, you do not debate the existence of your comrades. If you have comrades that are part of any community, you're not actually doing anything but endangering them and contributing to the rise of fascism. You're legitimizing its ideas. You do not debate fascists. You shouldn't debate fascists. It's a liberal mindset that you should abandon if you are a newer viewer of mine. I used to believe we should debate fascists. I disagree with that notion completely based on my experience in the past few years. Now, I'm still a newbie at this. I'm a noob. There's people that have decades of experience, and some of the people here, Socialism for All has way more experience than I do. Jason Unruh has way more experience than I do, so they know from experience. Yeah, I really wish I really wish did not fucking support Jimmy Dore. Like libertarians, I know I've been raving on them, but I think it's important because libertarians are a popular it's a popular form of fascism that these kind of people don't actually openly say that they're fascist, and a lot of them don't actually admit that they're fascist. They're crypto fascists more than anything else. I would I think there's like three different kinds of fascists. You have you have people who are in between. I'd argue libertarians are like fascists that are crypto. Then you have the fascists that are supporters of fascism but are not. But these people would be apolitical. They're not. They're more like a supporter of fascism, but they're not actually fascists. And then you have the politically active fascists. I think there's three kinds of fascism. Fascists. I think there's more than that, but I'm just to simplify it. There's three important kinds of fascists that we should be looking out for. Because the ones that are the most dangerous are the politically active fascists, obviously, because they're the ones that are doing the most damage. They're the ones that are spreading the rhetoric. They're the ones that have the capital behind them. They're the ones that actually are doing active harm. Not saying that crypto fascists aren't dangerous; they are, but they don't have nowhere near the amount of influence that the politically active fascists have. Yeah, that is true. It really is. Like the more you actually study American history, the more you realize. Of course, if you study Nazism as well, and the rise of basically the Nazis in general, you will see a parallel between American fascism and Nazi fascism. And it's impossible to ignore the similarities between Americans' manifest destiny and Nazism. Of course, every signal ideology of fascism, its variant, all stems from Rome. I know it's a cliche to say all roads lead to Rome, but it's relevant because every empire that has ever existed in history will send. Well, Rome, I don't believe Rome wasn't the first empire, but it's the most famous of them all. Has been influenced by Rome. The symbolism of fascism is from Rome. I mean, the eagle is a fascist symbol. What is the eagle? A predator. What are fascists? Predators. I mean, you don't choose symbols for no reason. It's like, why do communists not use the eagle? Because the eagle doesn't represent working people. The hammer and sickle represents the working class. It represents the proletariat. There's a symbols mean something. And of course, the Nazis did appropriate what was once a peaceful symbol, the swastika. The swastika has been tainted because of the Nazis. But if you look at the symbols of the Nazis, like the eagle and the American flag, which also has the eagle in its imagery, yeah, there's a lot of fucking things you cannot ignore about fascism. Like the Pledge of Allegiance is basically a fascist salute. I mean, there's like literal photos of people doing the Nazi salute when they did the American Pledge of Allegiance. I mean, there's little difference between the Pledge of Allegiance and doing the Nazi salute. There really is little difference. Not to mention the amount of like things that also contribute to fascism, like the Christian nationalist movement is basically oh yeah, Nazism was a Christian movement as well. So there's no denying that. And I know some religious nut job will claim that, oh, Catholicism isn't Christianity. Sorry to break it to you, but without Catholicism, there would be no Protestantism. So no, you cannot pull that card. Now, I'm not saying I think Catholics are all fucking Nazis. I'm not saying that. What I'm basically saying, you cannot deny that Christianity had a huge influence on Nazism. Like fascism, one of its biggest influences is religion. Now, this is going to sound contradictory for me saying that because I support people who practice their religion, but it cannot be denied that religious extremism has basically played a role in fascism. But there has been religious people that have opposed fascism as well, and this is a topic that I'm not educated enough on to discuss in detail because the history of religion is not my strength. I don't know enough about religion to do so. Yeah, I did. But what's really interesting is fucking the Nazis took that salute from the fucking Italians. So yeah, I guess this goes to show you fascists can't create anything of their own. Well, again, I don't want to talk. I don't want to get into the sectarian and religious argument regarding religion because that's not what I'm here for. I'm just saying that a lot of fascists are use religious imagery to push their agenda. Of course, then you have other forms of fascism as well, but like Nazi isn't the only one. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent and yeah, this kind of stuff is completely out of my fucking basic my what is that word? I'm not educated enough on this particular subject. I'm just doing this based on what I've researched in the past 15 years. Yeah, that is very true. It is very true. And I don't mind religious people being communists as long as the the, the science comes first. Because we can't ignore there is a religious socialist that exists out there, but I'm not here to debate the differences between that this and that because I don't want to get into that discussion. Yeah, that is true. That is true. It's an, it is impossible to overlook that capitalism at one point was progressive. When it overthrew socialism, it not socialism, feudalism, sorry, is was progressive for its time, but in a lot of ways it's become worse than feudalism due to just how much more power a capitalist has versus a monarch. It's not even a contest. Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, they have more power. It's in the Koch brothers or Koch brother now. Forgot his fucking that piece of shit's name is. They have more power than a king ever did. Monarchs don't even come close in the amount of power they have compared to capitalists. Yes, it does. I'd argue without religion, I think we would have already gone past capitalism. I would argue that. Then again, I'm not here to argue, oh, fuck religion, deaf to religion, because that's not what I'm arguing. But I'm basically saying that if religion didn't have as much power and influence as it does on the proletariat, I'd argue we would have already be past. I think we'd be in communism by now. But I'm not going to look into a crystal ball. We can't, so we don't know that for sure. But I'm saying it's strongly possible. Yeah, the Nazis are fucking copycats. It's totally true. But then again, feudalism's origins are also not origins. Sorry, fascism's origins are connected to feudalism as well because the original fascists were basically romanticized the the monarchs of the past. Fascism, its biggest strength and weakness is basically to get people to be nostalgic for a time they've never lived or a time that never existed. Like, I'm just going to look at our country as an example. Those of you who live in the United States, those who live in whatever country you're living in can know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, make America great again. What does that even mean? Because depending on who you talk to, depending on who you ask, you're going to have a different answer to that question. What does make America great? What did make it great? What was America doing that made it great? Was America great because the economy after the Second World War, you had the best prosperity this country's ever had? For, well, if you're white and you're middle class, that is, but that's beside the point. Was it because we had better benefits than we did before the neoliberal era in the 1970s? What the fuck does make America great again even mean? Because it's so vague, because depending on who you talk to, it's going to mean something vastly different. Yes, it is. Because these people romanticize an America that never existed. Like, oh, America used to be great. Okay, what made it great? And you know what? That's what makes MAGA a dangerous movement to begin with, like all fascist movements, because they could basically say whatever the fuck they think it means, because they could just change the definition fucking on the fly. Oh, make America great again means, oh, America, once was a country for the working class. That's just one interpretation. Oh, America was once great because certain people knew their place. Nostalgia is basically all this fucking is. That's what MAGA is in a nutshell. Fascism, you need nostalgia to build a fascist movement. Because without nostalgia, you can't build a fascist movement, because nostalgia is what fascists use to push their agenda in the first place. You cannot fucking build a fascist movement without nostalgia for a regime that never actually existed when you really think about it. Because it never existed. It never has existed. It never will exist. If these people truly want to make America great, they don't actually. They would they would basically make a country that cares about its workers. That would actually they would support basically overhauling its infrastructure. They would support giving every worker a chance to actually have a fulfilling life. Everyone to have a fulfilling life. They would fund freaking things not more than the military and the police. They would fund education. They would fund the roads. They would do anything that would make an actual society great. But what these people really want, it's just they want to be the ones in charge. If you really think about it, MAGA is just a petty bourgeois movement by a fringe minority of the population, the middle class Americans who see themselves as being oppressed by the big bad government. They want to be the ones in charge. They don't want to make America great for anyone, but they want is they want to return things to what they perceived of what was the best era for America. For those, it was the era before slavery, and where certain kinds of people knew their place. That's all it is. MAGA is just a movement for and by the fucking petty bourgeoisie. That's what most of the people that fucking support MAGA is anyway. They don't want to end the wars that have destroyed the lives of millions. They don't give a shit. They don't care that millions of people have been killed in the war in Iraq or Afghanistan. They don't care that there's over 500,000 homeless people, or if you really want to believe the official numbers, there it's probably in the millions. They don't care that children are going to bed hungry. They don't care that thousands of people are dying every single year because they can't have access to healthcare. They don't care that people are literally in debt. It's like these people actually really don't want to make America great. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Yeah, it's a joke. It really was a joke. It didn't give fucking people of student debt shit. It's like, we're gonna hang this, we're gonna dangle this yeah, you want debt forgiveness? Yeah, vote for us, you stupid fucks. Wait, you actually expect us to forgive your debt? Oh, you stupid worker. You actually thought we were gonna do that? You're a dumbass. I mean, that's just how these people look at the workers. They hate them. They hate them. They hate the working class. They really do. It's like, and yeah, the fucking reactionaries in the Republican Party, it's like, oh my God, this is going too far. Oh, this goes against the Constitution. Where the fuck that even means? Oh, wait, doing the bare minimum, giving like $10,000 or $20,000 debt relief, that's going too far. That is really going too far. It's like, yeah, these fucking people don't give a shit. They never have. It, it's all about, oh, fuck you. It's mine. Or of course I am not a good George Carlin impression. I'm not going to even try to dignify in, you know basically quoting George Carlin, but George Carlin was right. Separating art from the artists, that's bullshit. I really think that's bullshit. I think anyone that actually pushes that are people that is looking for an excuse to enjoy something that have been done by awful people. Because I think you do the artist a disservice in general, regardless of who they are, if you separate the art from the artist. Sorry, the art from the artist, because they're the ones that basically created it. They're the ones that put all their time into it. And no, I'm not going to explain what makes Syntopia a Nazi propaganda because I haven't watched the movie. The thumbnail I said earlier was literal clickbait. I mean, it's obvious that any movie that promotes the U.S. military is basically Nazi propaganda. I mean, do I really need to get into detail the way how it makes the U.S. military out to be the good guys? Like you could make an argument can be made that the any most of the Marvel films are Nazi propaganda. Like it's I mean that argument can be made as well, and same thing with like yeah I don't really want to get into it. As for as Avatar Nazi propaganda, I don't think I agree with that. I don't know why that was added on there. I know there's a lot of there. I know there's people that don't like Avatar, so that's understandable. Oh, what's up, Gangaros? But yeah, but then again, I would like to elaborate on separating the art from the artist because I do think you're doing it a disservice. Okay, I'm gonna be real. Every thing in capitalism has some form of right wing propaganda to some extent or another, or problematic shit in there. Like, can you still enjoy this stuff regardless? Possibly, as long as you recognize the signs. Like, I'll just use these two series as an example. Are you really harming anyone for consuming Naruto despite its fascistic stuff in it? No, because as long as you recognize the shit in there and you enjoy it for other things such as for some of the themes of the stories or the fights in Naruto, that's vastly different. Or you could look at the story in a different way, interpret a different way than something like Harry Potter, because Harry Potter is what I'm comparing the two, Harry Potter and Naruto, because I think they have some similarities to some extent. Kishimoto in none of his interviews had said anything outright reactionary like J.K. Rowling has. Because J.K. Rowling is basically actively contributing to the rise of the fascist movement worldwide. And I think by default, Naruto is nowhere near as bad as Harry Potter in this aspect. Simply because Naruto's creator isn't an open Nazi like J.K. Rowling is, even though Naruto has some things that are very problematic, and I won't defend Naruto. I'm just comparing the two series simply because, you know, Naruto, I would argue, has a lot of things that are problematic, and I've discussed it in detail ages ago. I wish there was art made by a communist, but that's not possible. But the thing is, not as long as an artist doesn't say anything that's outright in reaction or makes it impossible, you can interpret the series in a different way. Like you could still, I'm just using this as an argument. If you really insist on still enjoying Naruto, as long as you look at it in a different way and ignore the sequel, you can look at it. Oh, this and have your own interpretation what the story is because the author's interpretation is not the only thing that matters. I don't think it. I think Naruto. There's enough room, unlike Harry Potter, where you can look at the story in a different way than you can for the Harry Potter series. Which between the two authors, Kishimoto isn't on Twitter constantly tweeting anti-LGBTQ plus stuff in the fucking in general or actively supporting anti-LGBTQ politicians, anti-LGBTQ individuals. He's nowhere near as harmful as someone like J.K. Rowling, who has a global influence on on pop culture. Like so many people like are influenced by J.K. Rowling. Like J.K. Rowling is like, it's not something you can ignore anymore. J.K. Rowling has fucking literal open fascists support her. She has Nazis that literally support her. She has Holocaust deniers that literally support her. And I think it's just not the same. It really is not the same. And yes, you could probably say, oh, but I can ignore everything J.K. Rowling says. That's the thing, you really can't. You really cannot, because the Harry Potter series pushes and reinforces class stereotypes and class antagonisms. And the whole thing between muggles and wizards is basically pushing a class of people. Muggles are essentially a lower class than people that are magic born. That is also true as well. And of course, the reason I'm bringing this up of Naruto, because I've been reevaluating the series, because I feel like I still stand by the things I said about it being reactionary as hell. But Harry Potter is actively harming people. It really is. Like, and not to mention, you don't have a fucking video game of Naruto that literally has a prequel story suppressing a fucking rebellion of an oppressed class of fucking people like fucking goblins. Like, I'm just being real. And not to mention, and of course I've been around the Naruto fandom, so I've seen it. There's actually a decent amount of LGBTQ people in the Naruto fandom. So they're not as hostile to LGBTQ people like Harry Potter is. A majority of Harry Potter fans, or if you can even call them that these days, hate J.K. Rowling because of she's anti-LGBTQ. Like majority of people that used to promote Harry Potter don't do it anymore. Now, I'm not defending the Naruto series. I'm just bringing up Naruto because it's the best example to compare and contrast. Like you want to you want to watch Naruto and maybe just enjoy it for what it is. That's fine, because there are some good things about the series. It has the action scenes are entertaining to watch. It has some pretty cool fights. The soundtrack is, for the first series in Shippuden, I think is some of the best music in anime history. I think there's some quotes I think are really inspiring in the show. That's more than I could say for Harry Potter, which doesn't have anything that really inspires anyone if you really think about it. Like the nihilistic like messaging of the fucking of Harry Potter is basically, oh, you know what? Things suck. You should accept your lot in life. Like there's literally no form of fucking optimism in Harry Potter. It really isn't. And by the way, when I talk about the Naruto series, I refer to the manga, or any anime series I talk about, I refer to the manga. I don't refer to the anime version. But anyway, and same thing with Harry Potter, I refer to the books. People who push separate art from the artist are just looking for an excuse not to actually engage with entertainment on an objective level, because they want to turn off their brains and don't actually want to think about what they read or what they watch or the kind of games that they play, because they would have to realize, like, they may contribute to the problems that these form of entertainment are criticizing. Like, they don't want to think. And I think the best forms of entertainment are those that engage with these issues. They're not the ones that actively support it, or active or give you, or if they give you room to interpret in a different way, that's fine too. Now, I'm not going to defend any of this stuff I'm talking about earlier between the two stories, But between the two, the greater evil is definitely Harry Potter. It's just no contest what's the greater evil, because one author is a billionaire, or I don't even care if she is, who's actively helping Nazis, while the other is hasn't really said much. It doesn't really hasn't said much since the Naruto series ended back in 2014, and he's mostly just doing his own thing now. So he's nowhere near as harmful as J.K. Rowling. He doesn't actively support people like Matt Walsh. I mean, I just think there's a fucking difference between the two. And not to mention, I don't see supporters of Kishimoto fucking harassing trans people. That's just basically why I'm saying it's such a fucking night and day difference. Now, there's a series I will say I hold dear to my heart that I'm forced to that I do have to be forced to like contend with, and that is Rurouni Kenshin. Can I really separate the art from the artist? I That's a difficult thing because nothing in Rurouni Kenshin supports pedophilia, and the themes of the story is about redemption and moving on from one era to another, and it deals with themes about that are very complicated and very complex. It takes place in the Muji era, and I don't see anything that's harmful in Rurouni Kenshin. But really I can't endorse people to support him, nor but I can't. But I think that Rurouni Kenshin itself is still a good story, and it's a shame that it's made by such a shitty person. I don't separate the art from the artist. I think he's a scumbag, but I cannot separate my enjoyment of the series just because he's a piece of shit. Oh yeah, she is. She has done so much to fucking contribute to the global rise of fascism. And no, this is not off topic because entertainment is a political thing. I think we should all talk about. Like she has contributed to the fascist movement because those who never cared about J.K. Rowling before, never cared about Harry Potter, are actively supporting her. Like this new game that's coming out, and I'm going to bring this up, like Hogwarts Legacy. Like what I'm going to say is basically not going to reach enough people. This stream, it's probably not even going to get 1,000 views, but I will say it anyway. Anyone that actually supports Hogwarts Legacy, you're basically supporting the further oppression of trans people, because a lot of the people that work on the game are extremely right wing. You have anti-Semitic tropes with the goblins that look like something from a Nazi fucking propaganda poster. Like it's really sick and disgusting how fucking detached the average. Yeah, this is why I basically have said I despise nerds as a whole, because they have this elitist mindset and they don't care that their actions have consequences, because they do. If you care more about your hobby as a gamer than you do about harming the very community that you supposedly care about, I'm not saying gamers don't care. If you care more about your enjoyment of the miniums then you don't really care about fucking how you're actively contributing to the rise of the fascist movement. Because if Hogwarts Legacy is successful, which it probably will be, because it's going to be, it's just going to encourage more types of games like that to be created. It'll encourage more overtly right wing fucking propaganda inserted in our video games. Now, no one can deny that Call of Duty isn't fucking fascist propaganda, because it clearly is. But that's just one of the obvious examples. It John Williams' score is the only redeeming thing about Harry Potter. I mean, the actors. Okay, for the Harry Potter movies, to be fair on the Harry Potter movies, so I'm just gonna say this for the Harry Potter movies, at least like I will give the credit. The actors, they did what the best they could do with the source material they had to work with. It's not their fault. The Harry Potter movies, they're decent movies on their own, even despite the source material being shit. Yeah, I do agree. Mangaka, for those of you who don't know, people in Japan, like Kishimoto, and people like him are exploited. The conditions are awful. They barely get any sleep, and they have to produce chapters on a weekly basis. So I have far more sympathy for Kishimoto and people like him than I do J.K. Rowling, because she basically lived in luxury, while Kishimoto, by contrast, basically had to work nonstop for like let's see, Naruto started in 1999 and ended in 2014. For 15 fucking years with not barely a break. So I have far more sympathy for him and any mangaka than I do for fucking J.K. Rowling, who basically lived in luxury for a lot of the time she wrote Harry Potter. Yeah, of course she did. That's no accident that J.K. Rowling would do that. Yeah, in fact, I don't care. I don't think people should basically play the game even for free. That game shouldn't be promoted in any way. I know people. The only reason I'm bringing up Hogwarts Legacy because fascism is like a very scary thing right now, and it's rising. And the way, if what you see in our entertainment reflects the rise of fascism perfectly. Like what is being promoted in movies and our and let's say art, it's better to say it without repeating myself, does determine what kind of ideology is basically being pushed in our society. Yeah, that's fucking funny. Yeah, of course they say they should be grateful. Fuck. Then again, these people have nothing but contempt. They want people to. They don't view actors as human beings. See, sorry. Oh yeah, his music in general is amazing. Oh God, I'm not going to talk. I am not interested in talking about the world between worlds. And if you're, I'm not discussing that. Don't fucking give a shit. This is not the kind of discussion. It's a Lego game. I mean, Lego games are harmless. I mean, I already have the Lego game. I mean, I bought it before I knew about this crap with J.K. Rowling. I'm not going to sell it. I mean, it's a video game. It's a fucking Lego game, and Lego games are fun. At least most of them, anyway. It's not a Star Wars Lego game, but I don't care. Harry. God, I can't. There's like There's like way too many Harry Potter movies. I can't believe there was fucking. How many of those goddamn movies are there now? If we're counting the fantastic shit movies, like aren't there like 14 movies or 13? It's like fucking Christ. That is way too many. Um, yeah. Well, I've never been a fan of Kanye, to be honest, and I don't care. What EU stories would I like? What would you like? Would I like to see if the EU were continued? I think I've said this multiple times, but I don't know if you watched those videos. I would just simply like them to finish the stories they've already started. Like no new storylines, just finish the existing ones. Basically, continue Legends where Crucible left off and finish Legacy 2 and Imperial Commando 2 and whatever other stories they have left hanging. I'd care more about them finishing existing stories than starting new ones. If that answers your question. Yeah. What's actually funny is Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. I still haven't finished it. Actually, I'm on. I haven't finished Return of the Jedi yet. Anyway, what was hilarious is they fucking took a giant dump on the sequel trilogy, and it was fucking hilarious. I mean, seriously, it was fucking hilarious how they took a dump on the sequels. Like they basically went out of their way to basically mock those movies. They even made fun of how useless Phasma was. Oh, the Dragon Ball Z movies. Oh, fucking Christ. I know this sounds biased, but I think the best Dragon Ball Z movie is probably Dragon Ball Super Broly because the animation was really good and Broly was an actual character for once. I really don't care if Dave Filoni likes the sequel trilogy. Personally, I would rather them move on for those movies rather than just fucking just retcon them or whatever. I'd rather just tell new stories. The Mario Brothers trailer. Um, I thought it was good. Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the new the is there another trailer already? I wouldn't mind Dawn of the Jedi continuing. I would rather them continue the if I had a choice between the two, after continue after Crucible. God, if I were to do a rank of best Dragon Ball Z movies, I have it. I haven't seen them all in forever. I really don't know, and I have actually am not interested really in Mandalorian. I'll watch it when I watch it. Oh, 90s media for Star Wars. That depends on what you're interested in, though. For Star Wars, I'd probably start with the if you're interested in the stuff that has nothing to do with the movies and you're looking for 90s, I'd probably start with Tales of the Jedi. If you're looking to for a good story to begin, it's a cliche answer, but the Thrawn trilogy. Then again, I don't know what your taste are. I don't know. I personally don't care about Acolyte, but I'll see it probably because because whatever. The problem with the Z movies and in general is just they had the same. They're so formulaic in terms of their story. It's like, oh, you have this random guy that came out of nowhere. Oh, he's so powerful. Oh, wait, we're getting our asses kicked. Oh, wait, Goku has to save the day. Rinse and repeat. Like the Dragon Ball Z movies, for the most part, they were all the fucking same. They really were the same. The plot was almost non-existent. That's exactly fucking what it was in a nutshell. I mean, there's I mean, I'd like Fusion Reborn. Yeah, it has the same kind of formula, but the animation is nice, and seeing Gogeta was freaking cool for the first time. And Janemba has some pretty cool abilities. The first Broly movie, despite the story being shit, I thought it was a great spectacle. Just seeing Broly just fucking fight all the fucking characters and just beating the shit out of them. All right, you too. See you later, comrade. Yeah, it it it, it just the Cooler movie was fine, though. To be honest with you, Cooler doesn't seem to be that cool considering he's just Frieza with a different design. I mean, I don't care. I don't watch Dragon Ball Z movies for the plot. If I have to be honest with you, I just watch it for the action. Now, the movies that have good, like, that have good action scenes and they're well animated, I can overlook the basic plot. Though the ones I can't overlook because they're shit in terms of fucking animation is the second Dragon Ball Z movie, which I thought that movie had terrible animation. Same thing with what was that one I'm talking about? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking it's been a long time. Oh yeah, Android Super Android 13 was fucking terrible. It's garbage. The animation was trash, and so was the villain. Now I'm not looking for amazing animation, amazing story for Dragon Ball movies because let's be honest, and all these anime movies, Naruto, like also has their formulaic as well, but Dragon Ball just is the most formulaic of them all. Like nobody fucking watches Dragon Ball movies for the plot. If you're looking for a Dragon Ball movie that has a good story, I'd probably it's not really a movie, it's a TV special. I think the best movies is The History of Future Trunks and Bardock, the father of Goku, because they, unlike the other films, it feels like there's an actual story being told. And I'd argue there's some of the best Dragon Ball stories ever. Even though Bardock, father of Goku, kind of has something that's contrived. Oh, Bardock, it's Bardock basically sees visions of the future, which makes everything seem to be preordained. But I think what made it really interesting is basically Bardock kind of goes crazy, realizing he's basically fighting a losing battle against Frieza, and I think that's just the most thing I liked the most about the movie. He was a badass and he fought to the bitter end. Well, it's people. A lot of people call it a movie, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I haven't watched the Dragon Ball movies. I've watched Z's. Anyway, well, I can't really say. I'm not a Superman fan. I mean, nothing's really that original. I mean, I thought it was a good story for the Dragon Ball series. It did basically in it did basically influence the manga to some extent because Akira Toriyama drew Bardock in the manga in one of the panels in the Frieza arc. So without the anime, we would never have Bardock. All he would be is a name. Not to mention, Bardock is was kind of an asshole if we're going by the original version. He didn't give a shit about his own son. Then again, Saiyans were established as being kind of a warrior culture, so they didn't give a fuck about like family and shit. Of course, they for those of you who bring up Dragon Ball Minus, that is basically just not a retcon because how canon works in general when it comes to manga is if the manga is basic if it's not from the manga it's not really canon. So yeah, then again it is kind of confusing because if we're going by modern Dragon Ball because yeah because is that which canon, super or the manga? I just say whatever. Who gives a shit? I don't watch One Piece is the kind of series I don't watch simply because it's 1,000 episodes, and the only way you could any I recommend anyone to watch the anime of One Piece is type One Piece, which is basically think of Dragon Ball Kai but with One Piece that condenses One Piece from 1,000 and something episodes to 300 and something episodes. Though, for what comes to One Piece, I'm a manga reader more than anything else because there's no fucking way I'm watching 1,000 episodes. The amount of time it would take me to watch the anime of One Piece, I could basically reread the manga from like volume 101 and back and do it again multiple times over before I'd be caught up. It's just not worth it in my opinion. You're better off reading the manga. Oh, Death Note. Death Note. Which Death Note are you talking about? There's multiple Death Notes. You're talking about the manga, the source material, which I think is the best version of the story, the anime, which in the second half of it rushed through most of the second half of it and botched the ending. The manga. I think the manga is better than the anime, mostly because, in my opinion, if you're adapting Death Note, animation should be the last fucking thing you should do for Death Note. Considering the kind of story it is, it's not something you should be doing in animation. I think live action fits Death Note better. I know I'm probably going to get crucified by anime fans. Oh my god, Darth Sinovia, you're saying Death Note is better as a live action. Yes, I do, because the kind of story it is and how dialogue driven it is, it fucking is not very good television. And not to mention, the manga has. I won't spoil the ending for the manga, but it's vastly better than the anime. The anime ending was fucking shit. And considering the fact that Light Yagami, I personally, I see him as basically as a power hungry fucking fascist, and seeing him basically get a taste of his own medicine was fucking satisfying. His ending in the manga is great. I won't spoil that ending. I agree. Actually, I think nothing is canon in Dragon Ball except the first 42 volumes of the original manga. Anything past it to me is not canon. I haven't watched Andor, so I cannot comment. Yeah. Now, I as for what I would wish I if I were to engage, how would I recommend those who are communists to engage with Death Note as a series? Death Note is I would argue is a series that basically is an interesting series to read. The kind of Yeah, it's pretty nihilistic in terms of its messaging. Yes, it's pretty it like the idea it could be some of the stuff that it pushes can be pretty reactionary, but if you overlook that and basically interpret it in a different way and see like yeah, the justice system's fucked. Light Yagami is basically a and L's ideologies aren't much different from each other. Like one it one is they're both bourgeois, and Light basically doesn't think the justice system is going hard enough. That's essentially what it is in a nutshell. Now, I still would recommend those to read it anyway because you could basically look at it as that it's not about justice at all, the manga. At least I don't interpret it that way. Because I would argue that it's also a criticism of people like Light. Because at the end of Death Note in general, what happens? Now, this is for those of you who don't care about spoilers. I won't spoil Light's death in the manga, but in as soon as Light dies, the world goes back to the way it was, which goes to show you that Light's way would never work. Neoliberalism would never work if you're trying to reform the justice system. You have to completely build a new one from the ground up. And neither Light or L offered an alternative. They both wanted the same thing in the end. It's just one of them wanted to keep things as they are, and one of them wanted a more extreme version as they are. Now, you could argue that Death Note doesn't really actually show why criminals commit crimes, like why Light is wrong. Not because Light goes against the justice system, it's flawed, but it works. No, I feel like the criticism you could give the Death Note, I'm just saying for me, now this is not the author's intention, but I'm saying for me, is it doesn't show us the other side. Then again, this manga was written by someone from Japan, a heavily conservative country, so you're not likely going to get a more leftist critique on the justice system in Japan because it is a Japanese manga written in Japan. But I figure I'd just give my 2 cents on it. I got this whole series in all-in-one edition. I have the anime as well. The Netflix adaptation is fucking awful. The only good thing is William Dafoe as Rarook. Like, I really want to fucking... I really want to freaking just bang my head against the wall. It was an awful adaptation. I did a video on it. I don't think I'm proud of it, but it was awful. It was basically, you know what? What happens if you put Twilight and mix Twilight with Death Note? You have the fucking shitty Netflix adaptation. Yeah, that is true. And I believe that I think that is and this is why I think I appreciate authors in Japan such as Kishimoto not enforcing whatever views they may have these in interviews, that they at least allow some interpretation to be made. So other critiques, from at least from our perspective, we could basically say, you know what, this is not what how I see in the series. I see it in this way. Like Death Note, well, you could say it that this is what happens when you try to reform it through violence rather than try to build a new system from the ground up. And as for Watchmen, I have the comic. I have yet to read the whole thing. I have too many damn books that I'm reading. And to answer your earlier question, what I think is the most underrated EU novel, I can't answer that right now. There's too many. Because there's a lot of books. I guess I could say the most underrated would be the Lando Calrissian Adventures, because they're not talked about that much. Yeah, that is true. Uh, you can, like, yeah, you can, all you want in one edition. I don't know if you could still find it, but it's basically you can get the entire series for like 30 or 40 bucks. It is a good deal. And yeah, and I do think, like, it is a cautionary tale. You can look at it that way, and I do think it's more interesting when writers do not, like, push their views up front, because even if the series itself has some problematic stuff, you can interpret it in a different way, because they're not they don't, as long as they don't do what J.K. Rowling's at, it's okay. I have no comment on the DC reboot. Like, how I'll use an example of how I can look at the Naruto series if I wished. Like, because hey, the author himself doesn't push this shit. Like, we know he has some reactionary stuff in Naruto, but I can look at it in a different way. That that in order to have peace in the world, you can't just do it by destroying the whole fucking world. You can't do it by like trying to isolate yourself and try to take all the hatred by yourself and try to be the supreme ruler, or do it through fear or whatever. I mean, there's lots of things you can do. You can interpret. You don't even. As for the Uchiha clan massacre, I don't see it as a good thing. I see it as one of the worst acts you can commit. And of course, the series also, there's also corruption. How how the failure to reach an understanding could lead to wars, and how, like, if your intention is nefarious, it's always going to lead to suffering. I mean, there's a lot of things you could talk about. I mean, there's a lot of things you can look at, like all any media that gives you the wiggle room to interpret the series in a different way. I think it's a good thing. Like, in my opinion, Joker is one of the best comic book movies of all time, simply because I don't have to, because you can interpret in the movie in whatever ways you want, though that could also be it could be a good thing, because it could open it up at the doors for disgusting people to, like, interpret in a disgusting way. Oh, I have no interest in Boruto, and I still haven't watched it. As far as I'm concerned, the Naruto series ended in chapter 700, and there isn't a sequel, does not exist. Now, you can't always do this though. So any author that is open about their views, like Rowling, you cannot basically reinterpret in the series the way you want, because you know how they are. I haven't seen the Batman movie, but I've I've heard good things about it. I'm just not interested in Batman. I'm just not really that interested. I don't mind the animated series, or because I consider it a classic, and and it's one of the greatest cartoons of all time. Holy shit! I haven't kept track of time. I've been doing this for almost for like fucking over 2 hours. Oh yeah, anyone that thinks the Empire is a good thing is a fucking moron, or they're just an outright fascist. Don't get me wrong, the Empire are great villains. I mean, you have some of the greatest villains in all of fiction in the Empire, and the ships look cool, their armor looks cool. I think they make some great villains. Some of the best villains of ever in fiction, it comes from the Empire in Star Wars. Like, one of my favorite villains is fucking Thrawn. Yeah, Thrawn. I disagree with his ideology, but he's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, because the way he defeats his enemies is trying to understand them and destroy them psychologically. And I think that is what I like about the character of Thrawn. That is unique, because how many characters in Star Wars do you think of that uses psychological warfare to defeat them? I cannot say if Thrawn will be ruining the Ahsoka show, because I don't know. Yes, oh yeah, he's definitely a villain I actually really enjoy, and that's what and in that aspect, there's nothing wrong with liking the Empire as villains, because they're great fucking villains. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can hate about them, but I think idolizing their ideology is like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, I forgot what the video. There was this great video that basically completely destroys Empire apologist argument. I think it's Gentech that talked about, like, that basically brought up the arguments for and against Palpatine, and their conclusion that people who are pro Empire are out of their goddamn mind. That what the Empire did was not just, and they have actually caused more suffering, and they were not freaking like sorry, and they actually they made things worse than before. So yeah, it's ridiculous. I I do not when it comes to the new canon, I do not read anything that takes place. The only new canon books I will read is prequel and High Republic. Anything other than those, I will avoid because I simply am not interested. And I don't care about Shadows of the Sith because I don't care about the sequels. Yeah, I think his videos are really good. He's one of the few people that still does like he's one of the few people that does interesting analysis. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Some people have problems with Zahn's betrayal of the Empire. I think people who have problems with Zahn's betrayal, it's like what? Zahn actually writes good military science fiction, and mind you, I'm not a fan of military sci-fi, but I feel like to make the Empire compelling villains, you have to write them in a way that makes them not just cartoonishly evil, like they actually generally believe they're fighting for a rightful cause. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think the way he portrays the Empire is realistic. I think he I think I because I think I know it goes by the good Nazi trope, but I just think some of the best characters in the EU were created by Timothy Zahn. Guild Pelion is one of the greatest Star Wars characters ever, in my opinion. I cannot say I don't have a crystal ball. Yeah, that is true. I don't know. I mean, Quinlan Voss has always existed. Oh, if I know the EU was always canon. I mean, was canon before Disney. I have the stance that I just don't care anymore because I've argued about it for so many years that it's exhausting. I just enjoy what I enjoy in Star Wars and leave it at that. Yeah, that is true. It is really true. I'm not like the Empire are a great fucking faction. They really are in terms of how they're written. And there's no denying that. Some of the best stories in Star Wars utilize the Empire. But I think saying that they were the good guys is just stupid. They're not. From their point of view, they may consider themselves the good guys. And I just don't think you can write villains with unless they themselves think they're the good guys. Because one of my favorite Star Trek villains and characters is Gul Dukat. Now, I never could not praise this series enough. I love Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine is a great show. I think Deep Space Nine has some of the most nuanced villains of any Star Trek series. Gul Dukat didn't see himself as an evil man. He didn't see himself as the good guy. He saw himself as doing the right thing and always being good. He never saw himself as being evil. And I think it's realistic. Evil people don't see themselves as doing evil things. Now, I'm not defending that, but I'm just saying that Gul Dukat felt realistic, at least until season 7, where he just became a crazy zealot. But Gul Dukat in the first 6 seasons of Deep Space Nine has some of the best fucking stories in Star Trek. And I will say this: the actor that played Gul Dukat completely sold that character. I mean, you have Damar and also who was another great character. I mean, the Cardassians in Star Trek, they're just think of them. They're basically an allegory for Nazis. That's essentially what they were, but they were such great characters. The actors they chose for the characters were amazing. For Damar, Garak, Gul Dukat, such great characters. who are well developed characters and nuance. You don't have to agree with someone's ideology to appreciate their great writing, and that's what Star Trek Deep Space Nine had. Amazing writing. I prefer the multimedia project over the TCW show because it was simpler to grasp and understand. I view Clone Wars as its own thing. I don't really care if it's canon or not. I don't know. I don't want another Star Wars movies. Yeah. Yeah, they did. I like aspects. I like certain books in canon, and I like certain books in though I'm more of a Legends fan. For me, as long as a canon story does something new, that actually feels like Star Wars or doesn't like it actually tries to do something new, like it gives more culture to creatures that never had it before. That I will consider it a novel that's part of my head canon as in Legends. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I hope it doesn't get made because I don't. The modern gaming industry, I just do not want them touching KOTOR. KOTOR is a classic. Wait, he actually said that? I don't take anyone seriously that says that they like Rise of Skywalker. I do not take them seriously. What do I think of the Final Fantasy VII remake? I cannot comment really. I think the Final Fantasy VII remake, I would rather them had the whole game be one game and not just split into multiple parts. Though I do appreciate them fleshing out Midgar more. I just would have rather it not been like three separate fucking games. It's ridiculous, but whatever. It's Square Enix, and Square Enix, well, are a scummy company, and I fucking can't stand them. I really cannot. I had no idea. I really, you know, kind of just go on a tangent here. I know I've ranted about how much I think Palpatine's a dumbass in canon, but I'm just gonna say this: why can't Palpatine? Why does his son have to be a clone? Why can't he just simply just be the biological son of Palpatine? Why does this convoluted nonsense? It's so dumb. I mean, seriously, you're gonna make fucking. You already made Rhea Palpatine, but you're gonna make her the daughter of a Palpatine clone. It's like, why do you have to make things so convoluted? Why not just make it simple? It's so stupid. Why couldn't Rey just stay a nobody? I mean, seriously, why? Why couldn't she stay a nobody? And don't get me wrong, Rey being a nobody basically was doesn't make sense either because Force Awakens foreshadowed her being a Skywalker, but it would have been better than her being a Palpatine. Her being a Palpatine is like one of the stupidest fucking shit ever, and I just cannot take any. It's hard to take them seriously. Fucking Ben Shapiro, I don't take him seriously on anything. The guy got his ass kicked by Andrew fucking Neil. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. I really don't care who she was. It would have been better. It would have been better. Sorry, it would have been better than her being a fucking Palpatine. Being a Palpatine was the worst goddamn decision anyone could have ever made. I mean, seriously, you could not have fucking like done something more interesting. Like, I don't care what Lucas's plan was for the sequel trilogy. I don't fucking care what version. I don't fucking care. They don't. I care about the versions that we have now. It's like it's so dumb. I can't take anyone seriously that says, you know what? The Rise of Skywalker was better than the Last Jedi. Oh yes, it's still like fucking. It's so fucking good, even though it's fucking shit. Oh god, that's just hilarious. They're just scared of the prospect of Palpatine not being a virgin. I really don't care what George Lucas would have done. Anything would have been better than what we got. Anything would have been better. I don't care what it would have been. Even if they were terrible, it would have been better than what we got. It would have been better. We would not gotten this trash that we have now. I mean, it's just fucking nonsense. She didn't really do anything. Yeah, that is true. Like, really. If I have to be honest here, I don't think the sequel trilogy would have been good, regardless who made it. And I'm not saying this as a biased EU fan. Okay, maybe I am a little bit, but let's just say this: there is nothing in the EU that would have been that the sequels could not have done better. It is the EU. I feel like if the sequel trilogy was done in the 1990s, that would have been different because there wouldn't have been as many stories. But by the time the Force Awakens came out, there was like almost 30 years worth of stories. Like not 30, but there was over 20 years worth of stories that were written that took place past Return of the Jedi that could have been a potential sequel trilogy movie. It was an impossible task to live up to the sequels. It really was impossible to the EU. You had so many potential ideas that would have made a great sequel trilogy. I'm not talking about the Thrawn trilogy, mind you. So many ideas. The and I just don't think it would have been as good, in my opinion. Because majority of my favorite Star Wars stories are not George Lucas's stories. That they're done by other writers, and other writers prove that you don't need George Lucas necessarily. Well, George Lucas did approve of the EU, so we got to thank George Lucas for the EU to some extent, because even the things that people hate about fucking George, they liked about the EU, would not exist without George. Even those who hate George Lucas but love the EU would have no majority of the stuff they liked about the EU would not exist without him. The Thrawn trilogy would not exist without George because he approved he greenlit it. The New Jedi Order series as we know it would not exist without George because he greenlit it. Like every single EU project that was made prior to before he left was approved by George Lucas. So I really I just yeah. The Yuuzhan Vong were a great idea. Honestly, they're my favorite set of villains in Star Wars. What I liked about the Yuuzhan Vong book series, it had the entire galaxy work together to defeat the greatest threat that the galaxy had ever faced. And in my opinion, the expanded universe should have ended with the new Jedi Order series because I feel like how do you end with something like that? I mean, how do you continue? How do you like? It's just, in my opinion, the scale of the stories just felt like a step down after the new Jedi Order series, and I didn't think that at the time when I read like Legacy of the Force and Fate of the Jedi, but they feel like a step down compared to the new Jedi Order series, considering it united the entire galaxy, and it felt like it felt hopeful, and I wish they would have stopped there. I consider the new Jedi Order series, at least like Star by Star, I consider it the equivalent of Star Wars equivalent of Infinity War, and you're fighting Force. I consider it the Star Wars equivalent of Avengers Endgame. Like it should have ended there. Like it felt like all the plot points that were resolved in the Bantam era were resolved in the New Jedi Order series, and it just felt like it felt so cohesive, so final that I just would have been okay if they stopped with that series. Then again, I'm probably the minority here, or am I the minority? God, I can't believe it's that old. I feel like I feel old. Holy shit! And God, Revenge of the Sith is almost 20 years old. Fucking Christ, I feel old. God, I feel old. Jesus. Yeah, and I think that's what made the EU so beautiful was the authors had so much creative freedom to do what they wanted, as long as it within reason, of course. And yeah, I think I'm just going to end the Star Wars talk here because I don't have any comment on PCs or consoles. PCs are objectively better than consoles because of the horsepower. God, it's almost been fucking Jesus. Have I really been doing this by myself for like 2.5 hours? Okay, I think I'm probably gonna end this stream because it's getting late. But before I end the stream, is there any last questions all of you want to ask me before I stop? At least I'll give you like all at least one question at the very least, just one. I'll try to answer them the best I can. So if I can't answer it, then just ask another question because I can't go on forever. I mean, and yeah, just wait for a bit. It's like holy shit, I can't. It's fucking yeah, it's cold. I have my window open and I don't want to shut it because yeah. Any questions, anyone? Are you satisfied? Let's see. All right, I guess I'll end it here. Anyway, have a good have a good day, everyone. I'll see you guys next time. And to answer your question, Gungaros, I'll tell you in private. Anyway, see you guys later. Peace.